Hello and welcome to another episode of Two Labs Garage. Today I'm going to be showing you a super easy method for making door panel inserts for a car that you have that may be missing them or you just otherwise want to rejuvenate them. Use the same method for a variety of upholstery inserts. And also if you have a car that they just don't make a reproduction door panel for, you can do this. So stay with me. I'm going to use some super basic tools to make some basic, easy to make door panel inserts. These are going to go in my '79 Dodge pickup. Alright, so I'm going to remind y'all the whole reason we're doing this. This is the driver's side door panel on my '79 Dodge pickup. And as you can see, I think this has seen its better days. The pad's reusable, but really nothing else is. And yeah, I think that needs to be changed. Over on the passenger side, excuse the mess, I'm still working on getting some other things fixed. I reckon you could re-dye that panel, but I got some new ones. Now, unfortunately, if you're used to messing with Chevy and Ford pickups, you know that these items are reproduced. However, you don't get so lucky when it comes to a Dodge. So I went to a junkyard and I found these door panels in a Ram Charger. And it's got the luxury fabric down here. It's a little bit newer Ram Charger, but I found that the shapes are the same and it'll work just fine. But this luxury insert was actually present, but the vehicle had been in the junkyard for many years. And they were not savable. They were warped out, buckling, yeah, they were trash. And somebody did cut a little notch out here for the handle, but I'm going to live with that. But we're going to work on replacing these right here. These inserts, if it wasn't for these notches, honestly I'd probably just leave it be and roll on. Now you notice they're different colors. This one's just in primer. This one, well, I started dyeing it blue and realized that I needed to put primer on it. But nonetheless, how I'm going to do this, I'm going to take some everyday painter's tape, like this. We're going to put some tape loops inside the insert. Put some paper down. I have this roll of masking paper. That works great. You can get it at any place that sells paint. If that's not available to you, you can use newspaper or any large sheet of paper will do fine. And you want a super sharp knife. I'm just going to use this razor knife. And I'll go ahead and show you how it's done. Alright, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to use this painter's tape, make some loops. And you can use the blue, you can use the green, doesn't matter. And just common loops like this and just stick them around where you go want your insert. You probably go one fairly close to the edge, but you want them inside that area. Just like that. Alright, so now we got all the tape circles on there. Next thing to do, and this is going to be a little tricky for different levels, but just be patient, we'll get it. Just take your paper, roll it out. Over your panel, get a length, and cut. Or just tear. That works too. Also, might I suggest that you try this on a day where it's not so windy. Just start on one end, just kind of Work it down onto the tape. Try to work any wrinkles out of it. Like those. Go ahead and make a relief cut right here. Now everything's down. Now you just take your super sharp knife. Now you can use a razor blade, box cutter, X-Acto knife, whatever. But just as long as it's super sharp, you go in here in the groove around where you want your edge, you cut your paper. Sometimes in these little corners it can be a little tricky. No worries. And there you go. Now you have a pattern. And do the same thing on both door panels. Alright, so here's what we got. I'll show y'all a little bit. See, I snagged a little bit right there. That's fine, because this is just a pattern. And it'll get us the right shape. And there you go. Also, there's a little piece of tape right there. That's where I cut a little too much out. That's just to help repair my pattern. Another thing you're going to want to do, glad I thought about this, is find the center of your window crank if you got one in there. Just kind of X that out. And then you can just kind of trim it. You do the same thing on both of them. There it is. And then you just, like I said, you go try to trim that out. And you'll see why in a minute. And the next step is to carefully peel your pattern off, but you want to peel the tape with the pattern. And you'll see why in a minute. Also, one thing I chose to do on this is go ahead and make your pattern before you have your final coat of paint on your door panel. And that's because the knife will scratch it. And at this stage in the game, I can easily hide that. Be like it never happened. You got a finished panel. I mean, you'd probably be alright, but it's just a whole lot easier to do it now. And follow me over to the Fairlane. Alright, sitting here on the hood is an old piece of hardboard I got. I think I bought this to do the door panels on my 64 Tempest. Because that's a 4-door and they do not make a 4-door door panel. So I made my own using a very, very similar method. But anyway, right now we have our pattern taped to the hardboard. And from here, to transfer the pattern from the paper to the hardboard, what I'm going to use is some lining paint. Now you can use any spray paint. I managed to get this cheap at a thrift store. But marking paint like this utility uses on the ground, it tends to stick to anything, and a little bit goes a long way. So I'm hoping I can get a nice bright pattern on this. Now this hardboard I'm using, you could get at any home improvement center, any place that sells lumber, Lowe's, Home Depot, the Midwesterners, Menards. We don't have that here in Virginia. How is that place, by the way? Just kind of curious. I've never been to one. But anyway, we're going to give that a little time to dry. And then Once it's dry, I just pull my paper up and I've got everything I need to know to cut right there on the hardboard. Alright, so about an hour or so has gone by and my paint should be dry. Let's see what happens when I pull up my patterns. Oops, didn't mean to do that. And there you go. Not quite perfect, but I can deal with that. And that will show me what I need to cut out for my door panels. Alright, so it's been a little while since I worked on this, but nonetheless, I got my hardboard out. It's got my templates on it. And I'm going to cut it. Now to cut it, I'm going to do most of the grunt work with this old skill saw here. Nothing special. You ain't got to use a nice one. That will do fine. And then when it comes to the curved stuff, I'm going to use this jigsaw right here. And this is a little $5 one I got 20 years ago on clearance at Walmart. Again, you don't have to have super fancy tools to do this stuff, just ones that work. So, just by cutting down the line here. Now you just come back, finish up with a jigsaw, saber saw, whatever you want to call it. Go ahead and set the other part aside. Now, you can see, alright, now you can see the little hole right here for the window crank. And there's a variety of ways you can go about doing this. You can use a paddle bit, a hole saw, it doesn't really matter. I'll probably use a hole saw, but you know, if you don't have one of them, your regular old paddle bit do the job. Alright, so I got my hole saw ready. I'm just gonna put a hole right in here for the crank. Alright, so I got my panel insert on the door panel itself. And I just see a couple places I want to trim a little bit. Remember, this doesn't have to be perfect. This most certainly is not. But like right here, I want to trim that. Like that. Round this corner off here a little bit. Same thing right here. Just starts going a little out. And also, In retrospect, I could have done things a little differently because I got them a little off on my mark here. It's not the end of the world. We can deal with that. So anyway, I'm going to take the jigsaw and do the adjustments I need. And also worth mentioning, you messing with these saws, any of these saws, they don't know the difference between wood and your flesh. So be real careful with them because they can hurt you. Now let's see what we got. Oh yeah, that's much better. A little adjusting. Still not quite satisfied with this right here. I'm gonna come in here and arc that a little more. But I'm close. There we go. What I'm going to do at this point is I'm going to clamp them together. A little more tension on that one. Not good enough. And now hold it in place. Because now I'm going to flip it over. I'm going to take my pencil and mark these slots. Another thing, I don't know if I've ever mentioned this on this channel or not, so if you've heard it before, forgive me. But when back to school time comes, I like to get these, I guess they're kindergarten pencils. They're made for young kids for them to grip onto. But, I mean, see, they're pretty stiff. They work great in a garage setting where your everyday pencils tend to get broken. You can see here, those are my marks for where those slots are. But I'm going to need to drill a hole in so I can put it up on there. Now I'm going to put the holes in here for it to bolt to the door panel. And I'm going to use a 3/16 drill bit and outfit I believe it's number 8 screw. Yes, that's what it says, number 8 screw, bolt, whatever. It'll fit that just fine. So in the center, just go drill me a hole in each one. Now I'm going to look at my 2 styles of number 8 screws I have and see if there's either one of them I'm particularly happy with. And for that I mean, I really don't want to see the head poking through after I put my upholstery on here. And I'm not planning on putting any padding on. If you want to put padding on, I mean, that's your choice. You can get some sort of thin foam. You can get quilt backing. Heck, I guess you could cut up an old blanket and use if you wanted to. Let's see if I have one around. But that will absorb this, the height. See, that screw sticks up pretty good. That one's a little flatter, but it's still sticking up some. Or I could go to the hardware store and just get some flatter screws. But either way, you go put these in, bolt it to your door panel, but you go put your cloth on it first. So it really depends on how much it means to you to have these hidden, what you do next. It's personal preference. I thought I had a right decent idea just to see what I got lying around. If not, I'll just handle it from there. Alright, so I went around looking and was trying to be creative and what I could use, because I've never actually padded one of these before. Every one I've done, I've put the fabric straight on. But I also didn't have to add screw heads like this before, so. Anyway, what I came up with was shelf liner. You can get the stuff anywhere. It's got a little bit of padding to it. That's vinyl. Anyway, just roll it out. Having to contend with the wind today, I'm hoping that fuzzy thing on the microphone's helping. Yeah, that should work fine. So anyway, give me something to cut it with. Be right back. Cut it. Lucky for me, this pattern makes it real easy to follow a line, especially on this windy day. Alright, so at this point, before I put my backing on, I'm going to go ahead and put my screws in here. Now I'm using number 8 32 1-inch screws. You can use 3/4. I'm just using these because of what I got around. I'm just going to push them down in the holes. Now I'm going to spray my spray adhesive on there. I'm using this 3M number 90. You can use 77 or a different grade, doesn't really matter. This is just something I have lying around. And some of the more astute, you may notice there's already some spray on it because I kind of forgot to put my screws on. But anyway, just hit it one more time, make sure we're good. Take my shelf liner, spray it, and stick it down here. I'm going to stick it on there. Kind of burnish it down. And you can still kind of see the screw heads through here. The vessels go had a lot of it. Now I'm going to set this aside to dry. And while I'm waiting on that, I'm going to go ahead and start my second one. One thing I'll point out, I noticed on the other side, my hole didn't quite line up on the window crank. So what I'm going to do this time is I'm going to take a pencil, reach under here. I feel like this will be held in place. That's another way to find your crank hole. And as you can see, yeah, we were a little off from what the paint said, so that's another way to do it, and you might find it more reliable. Alright, so that's had some time to cure up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut and leave probably about a ½ inch extra. I know earlier I said I wasn't going to do this, but heck, I changed my mind. And that's the beauty of this. Gotta make up as you go. Alright, and when you have a corner, an inside corner like this, you have to put some relief cuts in it. Just like that. Probably one on the outside. Now I flip it face up. I'm not going to worry about it too much. You take your fabric of choice. I chose this stuff. It's kind of like a vinyl. But it has two sides to it. Figure out which one I want. Not that side. That don't look too good. And I kind of like that. So, I'm going to get that into a workable size piece. Definitely want some overhang on this. Now this is something I picked up from Walmart. You can go to a fabric store have lots of choices. You can order the stuff online, go to upholstery shop. Yeah, all depends on what you want. Now I will say, from working with this stuff in the past, that stuff is blowing everywhere today. I sure hope the audio is decent. Anyway, if you got something that's vinyl lined like this, you can use pretty much whatever adhesive you want. I've used contact sealant. It works great. If you got something that's a fabric it's not vinyl or plastic like anywhere on it, I wouldn't use that. I'd just use a spray adhesive, because I've tried it, the contact sealant with a fabric, and what happens is it'll soak through and you'll see spots. I wish I had a piece to show you, but anyway, I'm just using what I got around, which is this spray adhesive. So I'm going to spray my back and stuff. Spray the back of my upholstery. I'm going to put it on. Work to push out any seams. Like I said, just let it overlap. We'll take care of that later. Just try to get as flat as you can. In fact, I'm going to put this on my sawhorses real quick. Gets a little more rigidity behind this. But remember, I got screws in there. So anyway, don't forget your screws, because they can mess things up. But we got this. We're just going to set it aside for now, work on the other one, and we'll trim this up later. Back to this one. Go trim it so I got about an inch excess all the way around. I'm just going to eyeball that. Go around the edge here, get another coat of 77 or 90 or whatever this is. Fold it over. And there you go. Got a big piece of it done. Now, set the door panel on the sawhorses and aim my bolts through here. Should go fairly easily. Got a little thing I want to address right here. It's alright. Alright, so as I was putting stuff away, I was looking at my door panel and I realized, dang it, you know, I forgot something. I forgot to cut the hole in for the window crank. So you may notice at the end of the video it's solid right here, but that's okay, we're going to fix it now. So to do that, all you need to do, take your knife, feel where the hole is, and cut an X in it. And spray a little adhesive on the back and push it through. You don't want to do it that way, you can also just cut that section out. Either way, I just decided I was going to cut it out here. It'll work. So anyway, we got the window crank in, back to the thing as I was doing it. Alright, now what I'm going to do here, I'm going to pick it up, try to turn this towards the camera, show you all the back side of it. See if a screw's sticking through. Going to put a big fender washer on the back, and I'm going to run a nut down. Now I'm not putting no lock washer on it, no Loctite, nothing like that. But I'll show you in a minute how I plan on holding this down good so it doesn't back out. Alright, so as I pointed out earlier, I haven't put any kind of thread locker or anything on these. But they're not going back out. I'm confident in that. And the reason I didn't was I didn't want to do anything that may cause it to bind up or make it hard to put this on. So now that I've got these on, notice they are a bit too long. Again, I just used some bolts I had around. I'm going to cut them off. And this wheel, when I cut it off, it's going to gulp the threads up and these will not back out. So. And there you go. They're cut off, not going anywhere. Alright, so a couple months ago, this door panel here was in the junkyard. An old Ram Charger. Whoa, excuse me. And that's that junkyard that has since closed. I'm sure that Ram Charger's been crushed by now. So anyway, I took this door panel and just gussied it up a little bit. Now, I am getting a little ahead of myself. Y'all understand why I chose to do a gray insert on a blue door panel when I get to finishing some stuff on this truck. But yeah, for a junkyard door panel that's still got some sun damage up here, which if I was really anal about it, I could fix that, but just between the die job and this panel insert, I'm really pleased with how it looks. Can't wait to get it into that truck. So anyway, this method right here, like I said, this is a method I've used in the past to make my own door panels from scratch, or at least very similar to it, and adapt it to make a door panel insert. I'm going to take y'all off here real quick. Yeah, let's see, there's the release. I'm going to show you my Pontiac Tempest that I'm still waiting on a part on. But this back door here, that is a homemade door panel right there. Now, instead of doing the crepe paper method like I did earlier, I took the old door panel off here and laid it on top of that same piece of hardboard, traced it out, and this actually has like a little bit of a foam back on this fabric. Glued it on and made my own door panels, as you can see. And that is a fraction of the cost of an upholstery shop. So I also did the same thing on that black, or not the black, the red Galaxy right there. They're black, they're kind of hard to see, but I did the same thing there. And my Comet, that's also got homemade door panels. Like I said, this is a method you could definitely use to make your own door panels, inserts. I've even thought about making a set of kick panels to that truck, since I see that they evidently aren't reproduced. At least I haven't found them if they are. So hopefully this is something that y'all can take and use, save you a few bucks, take your old truck and make it look presentable. Now, if you like this content, stuff like this, please go ahead and hit the like and subscribe. I'm going to try to get as many money-saving tips as I can for y'all out there. This is not hard to do, doesn't take that much time, not very expensive. This same piece of hardboard, I did the door panels for my Pontiac Tempest, I did the sail panels for my 69 Montego, I've done the door inserts. And the little piece of scrap behind me, I could probably get another small thing or two out of that. So a little bit will go a long ways. I did the door panels on that Tempest 10 years ago, so I don't remember what it cost. And even if I did, I'm sure it's not relevant now because lumber prices are high. But nonetheless, you can still do this on a fairly tight budget. Again, I have no upholstery background. I was the only child my mom liked to sew, so I know a little bit about fabric. Yeah, this is something that I think anybody with some basic skills can do. As always, if you're dealing with something that cuts, stay safe. I don't want any trips to the emergency room over this. But anyway, if you would, please go ahead and hit the like and subscribe button to help the channel out a lot. Help me be able to grow the channel and get more stuff that y'all really want to see out here. I'll have more content coming for you soon. Have a great day and take care of your project.